My name is John Spruce. I'm the founder and CEO of Kane Robotics. We focus on sanding, grinding, polishing. My largest customer at the time was a very large rocket manufacturer. I was over there one day and I just mentioned, if you had a robot, a lightweight, low-cost robot, you could just plop down right next to someone and do something with it, what would you do? And they took me out onto their production floor where they're building the rockets, and there's an army of people sanding and grinding and polishing on the side of the rocket. People with respirators and the bunny suits, and he said, "That, John, get me a robot to do that." So 4 months later, we were in that manufacturer on their production floor doing what's called bond prep. So sanding carbon fiber to prep for a bonding operation. And that's how Kane Robotics was born. We have customers now in semiconductor, of course, aerospace and defense, woodworking, oil and gas. What we have done is come up with standard platforms for different form factors of parts that we're going to process. We have a saying around Kane Robotics, it's not could you automate it, it's should you automate it. Maybe we could spend an hour coming up with a program to get 80% of the surface area, and then we'd spend 100 hours getting the last 20% of the surface area. Maybe that doesn't make sense. And then the skilled operator that already is there, who loaded the part, is unloading the part, can touch up those last little areas. We do optical polishing on fighter jet canopies. Very precision operation. We started that out by doing a demonstration contract. They sent us fighter jet canopies. We came up with fixturing. We did some process development, and over a few months, reached a level of confidence that, okay, we can deploy a system to your manufacturing operation. We just deployed a system, helicopter rotor blades, that come back for inspection repair. And they have multi-layer coatings. It might be a composite, it might be metal. They would spend, for one rotor blade, 2 shifts, sanding that whole thing down. And then they paint it, and then you have to sand, and paint multiple layers. Step 1 was, okay, let's just have the robot sand the rotor blade. We'll come up with those programs, and we'll have the operator make decisions about, how many passes to make. Because the painting is not an exact science. The in-field repairs by the Marines are always more paint, it's always thicker, everything. You might make 10 passes on this blade and need to make 12 on that one and 20 on that one. We put a vision system on it. We wrote some software so that we could take images in real time as we're sanding the blade. It required a human to evaluate those images, to classify those images, to train the AI algorithm on, okay, that's sanded enough in that area, I can move to the next area and sand some more. We built in the operator, who was just hitting go again, had to look and agree with the AI, yes, sand this again, or no, it's done, you shouldn't sand it again. And so we collected that data for a couple of months and did a statistical analysis to see, okay, is the operator and the AI, are they agreeing? So now we're in a phase where we still have the pop-ups coming up, but it's just advising the operator, hey, I'm going to sand again. And the operator says, okay. The final phase there will be the operator's not going to even do that. It's just going to sand until it's done sanding. We had a vice president of operations for a big aerospace company. Everybody's crowded around, 50 people, technicians, engineers, all the mumbling in the background. She stood up on a chair and said, no one is losing their job, right? We have so much work to do. We have all this backlog. This is just a tool to help you get the job done faster. If you just said, I can hire somebody for $10 an hour to sand on this cabinet door, you're never going to get there on the ROI. It's years. So you have to look at the intangibles, the productivity, the ability to grow. You have to look at this as, this is going to allow me to grow my business. They've done studies. When a company introduces automation, they grow their workforce. Maybe it's different types of jobs. Will the same jobs exist, down the road because of automation? No, they're going to change. We have had many customers come to us out of concern for repetitive motion injuries, carpal tunnel syndrome, or shoulder injuries, things like that. One of the things I think is really important is buy-in, right? In our experience, the most successful applications are where you have buy-in on the floor. And so finding that excited technician, someone who's like, hey, yeah, and they're at every place. We deployed a robot to a union shop. We showed up the first day and no one had told any of the rank and file union members. they're not happy. What is this? We asked a guy, I said, hey, where should we roll this to? And he said, you can roll that right back out to the parking lot. We got it in there, we got it working, and they assigned one of the union technicians, and he has been the biggest cheerleader for this thing, 3 years now. They asked him, hey, what do you think about this thing? He said, I think it's awesome. He said, I've got 10 more years until I retire, and I'm probably still gonna be able to throw the baseball with my grandkid.